it's really hard being in this space. I think everyone thinks when you're trying to do good, that you're doing good everywhere, and it's really hard to do good in everything you're doing, so you often come under scrutiny on that, but we're loving learning about where we can grow and improve on all that stuff.
This is Down to Earth Conversations, where we hear from ordinary people who are helping to bring a bit of heaven down to earth. Kia ora, welcome to another episode of Down to Earth Conversations with me, your host, Andy Dixon. Since the last episode came out, I've had COVID and isolated with the family. I've become a last-minute, just-in-case backup celebrant for a wedding, only to find out that I wasn't needed a couple of hours before the wedding because the celebrant didn't catch COVID. I've been having so many awesome conversations with ordinary people who are making this world a better place to be, and I can't wait for you to hear them all. There's musicians, business people, chiropractors, people doing food rescue and support for the poor and homeless. It's all coming your way soon on Down to Earth Conversations. If you've spent any amount of time in Christchurch, you may well have heard of or even been to the Addington Coffee Co-op. It's a cafe in Addington, Christchurch, that has developed a great reputation as a cafe and also as a business doing good. So it was there that I headed this week to talk to one of the founders and one of the overseers of the cafe and its ever-growing associated entities, Age Palmer. Age has been involved in the cafe since it was just an idea and has been integral to the whole journey, along with an ever-changing team of amazing people who keep the kaupapa, the heart of the place, alive. Age and I found a quiet place in an office in Addington Coffee, and we talked about how it all started, what the journey has been like, balancing business with a desire for justice and making a difference, and how the business and its connected entities have grown and been reshaped over the years. It's inspiring, it's pragmatic, and it's certainly heavy on care for people. This is episode 49 of Down to Earth Conversations. Here's Age Palmer. Kia ora, Age Palmer.
Good morning, nice to be here.
No he koe, who are you, where are you from, what makes Age Palmer who he is?
Oh, that's the hardest question first.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Look, I'm living here in Otatahi, Christchurch, and I've born and bred here, grew up here, travelled a little bit around the world, doing various things, and married a couple of young girls who keep me on my toes. Yeah. And
how old are they?
They are 11. Feels like she's 15 though. Yeah. And 8.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah,
ours are 9 and 10, so
nice.
Similar.
Yeah, no, it's a good stage actually. So, and yes, I work in Addington and live about 2 blocks away from where I work. So, nice. My commute's pretty good. Although there are roadworks going outside, so I've got about a 30-second detour to work now, which is
yeah, I'm
finding hard. And so I used to be a musician, a drummer actually. So
yeah,
that's if that counts as a musician or not, drummer jokes are plenty for years, and then. I've just fallen into things over the years and ended up being part of Addington Coffee Co-op and its associated brands and businesses, and I'm running the kind of New Zealand part of that whole enterprise now. And so I live in Addington, still play a bit of music. I love jamming with my kids who are starting to get into it as well. Cool. And I think the last 20 years since I've just talked about what I used to do have just gone so fast. And there's been a lot of water under the bridge. And so I'm looking forward to this conversation actually to reflect on it actually. So yeah.
Nice.
Thanks for forcing me to take a break and think. It's been good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a pretty cool age when you get to start playing with your kids.
Yeah.
Instead of just watching them play, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. So I'm not sure how long that'll last and when I won't be fun to hang out with anymore, but for now it's good.
Actually, I thought that the other day as I picked up one of my daughters from school because the other one was at home, and as we were walking out, she held my hand. I thought, I better cherish this as long as I can.
It ends.
It won't be long before Dad's not cool enough to hold hands with on the way out of school. So, Addington Coffee Co-op, that's where we are at the moment. We're out in a little office so that we're not too noisy. Even though the environment in there is so much nicer. Firstly, it's a bloody good cafe. I think we're going to talk about all the good that you're doing, but actually, first and foremost, this is a cafe that people love. And secondly, it's a cafe that is linked in, like you said, with some partnering kind of businesses and things. And on your website, you talk about an upside down business model. So it's a cafe, it's a good one, but it's got a bit of a difference. So we'll explore a bit of that as we go. How did it all start?
So it's a long story, I think, really. But I think it all started probably with a visit to India, actually, to Calcutta. For me, it would have been 2006, actually. So I think I was just newly engaged, and we thought we'd go to India to visit some people over there. So we visited Freeset, which is an outfit over there, and saw what was... Well, I saw in part of the world I'd never seen as well. Was quite confronted by that. And also saw what was happening from a community point of view and a business point of view that could be doing good. That business could be a bit of a force for good, and that you're living life in a community could actually be how you live your life could be part of that change as well. And so then when we came back here with a bunch of other friends, we moved into this neighbourhood in Addington and thought, let's sort of work, live and play in the neighbourhood and be part of making this community a better community, whatever that might look like. And so various things have been part of that. And I guess there was a thought that economics and the economy is a part of the fabric of any community in any city and of course the whole world. And so being a part of a positive force in that could be a good thing. And so we ended up thought a business would be good. What could that business be? And we ended up starting a cafe. So we're not cafe people. We weren't like, we want to start a cafe. We were like, what could be a good business that would be able to affect change and connect people? And we thought, well, it sells products and it has a whole lot of people involved in coming to it, and it can employ people, and it obviously has a supply chain that reaches into different parts of the world as well, that we could bring some positive change to through where we choose to purchase coffee from, for instance. And so we started this cafe. So I can keep talking for about 10 years on that if you want.
I guess.
Yeah.
What were your hopes at that stage? Like, did you ever imagine it would turn into like one of Christchurch's most loved cafes? Or
no, I mean, it's nice to hear those words, and I think I think it's 14 years we're in now, so we've survived.
Which is
the
actually
first 5 years,
massive.
which apparently is if you survive 5 years, you might live longer in hospital. And no, look, we didn't. I remember we even said, look, if refurbishing the place was a whole lot of blood, sweat and tears and fun, and we got to know so many people in our community along the way doing that. And I remember us saying, like, if we never even open, it felt like that sometimes, well, this journey's been worth it. And so, of course, you have hopes that it will be awesome, but you don't know anything in life. So we're ambitious, and I think we've always strived to do a good job and care, acknowledge our shortcomings as well quickly and try and fix them. And we still try and do that to this day. And I think so having that clear focus and a clear focus on excellence, so not trying to just get through, actually do a really good job with whatever we're doing, has been important to us. And there's a bit of luck in there as well. Like in any enterprise, there's a bit of right place, right time, and look, did the right people happen to drive past at the right time, and they told their friends, and so all that's mixed up that we're still here, living and breathing.
Yeah, cool.
And earthquakes and COVID later, and I think that almost feels normal. Can I say the roller coaster ride? So it's really interesting talking about it because it has been a long time, and it does feel like yesterday. Still, I was paint stripping the bricks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You keen to do that again soon?
No. Well, that was pretty satisfying. It's sort of like visual progress was good on that one, Yeah.
And it is a really cool space. You know, it's one of those spaces that you come into and it just feels homely. It feels like you just want to chat with someone.
We've always said we want it to be that home away from home feeling, which is a cliche, but so that it was nice, different, but also you don't come and feel out of place in it, as well. So we're lucky the building lends itself to that.
I love too that the kaupapa, the heart of what you're doing, actually influences some of your little decisions as well. Like, I just went and had a hot chocolate, and when I order, you get a country flag, and you've got that, that heart for the world, heart for those overseas, and that's represented in what I put on the table to get my drink delivered to me.
No, that's all part of it too, from day one. Although the flags were literally, what are we going to do for table numbers?
Yeah.
And the flags. But it brings that global awareness too. So, in terms of our values, there's a lot more to than just making a good cafe run. So, which I can go into now if you want. There's another question coming. But, and there's other businesses that tag into that too. But we've sort of operated it on what we like to say 4 basic operational values. They're not... sort of philosophies on how to run a business, but for us it's been that it has to be profitable and that it is a business, that we redistribute that profit. So as owners, profit is not taken out for personal gain. You get paid if you work, but so that's redistributed locally and globally. That we're good employers, we create good jobs here and help create good jobs overseas through the supply chains that we are involved with, and a little bit more qualitative, but that sense of belonging. So belonging is a really important thing for us, and whether that's our staff or our customers, our community, even our suppliers, and of course our global connection and belonging is an important thing. So, those are the things that I try to run through as filters when I'm making decisions. Is this going to help those 4 things? And are we fostering a sense of belonging with our staff, with our customers? And if we're not, what do we do to fix that? And it's been helpful to have those. They're not everything, but they've kind of just stuck, and they've been useful filters to decide things on. So
with it being a business model, like that's something that I've heard you talk about before, that it's not a charity. You haven't set yourselves up as a charity. You've actually set yourselves up as a business that is profitable. And actually being profitable, like you said, is actually important, because you can't do the generosity stuff that you guys do without being profitable. But even, you say you don't take money as owners out of the business, but it is important to you guys that you're paying people fairly for their work that they're doing. You know? So again, you have to be profitable to do that. And, I see so many people that have got a heart for doing good, but there's almost this feeling like, to do that, I have to give up on having a salary, or I have to give away everything, and there's some people who can do that, and that's amazing. But how has that been for you, having that kind of business focus and as opposed to the charity kind of mindset?
I think it certainly forces your decisions to be a bit more sharp. A bit sharper, and that so you're making decisions from really in a commercial lens all the time. And so there's a spectrum though, from full charity to full commercial, and somewhere in between there's there's that social enterprise buzzword, and there's a spectrum on that, and I think I don't know exactly where we sit on that. There's certainly been a lot of charity along the way from people who work in the business, and everyone's got different abilities to be charitable, and how much they can work for a less than market rate, and for some people that's not possible, and for others it is. And so so in that sense it's not full commercial, but in some senses we've set it up so that it can operate like that too. And so if someone's managing something and they're happy to take a pay cut because they really believe in it, that's nice of them. But our business model has been set up to be able to be self-sustaining, and that's hard to do. And year to year, that's hard to do.
Well, especially in hospital too.
And right now it's a squeeze for sure. But every business faces squeezes, and at certain times in that cycle of business. So but I think it feels like we haven't got a big safety net of charitable funding coming in left, right, and centre. So it's forced. You have to make decisions that work, and so efficiency is important. And
it's interesting. In my first episode this year, I talked to Stephen Moe, who's a lawyer, and one of the things he's looking at is drafting and proposing some sort of legal category for businesses like yourselves that don't fit a full business model and don't fit a full charitable model, because there's nothing at the moment, like legally speaking. I see that all around the place as well. There's businesses who are doing the sort of things that you're doing, but there's kind of not a category for you. And so then are you a social enterprise? Are you a social impact business? Or all these other words that you're throwing around
too.
Yeah. But actually, in the end, you're a business that's doing good, and that's great.
And that's never bothered us what the label is.
Yeah.
It is like, and rightly or wrongly, that's just the way we've set it up, and so we've just run with it. And just like you were saying before, you push record, you work with what you've got, and I think our vision has been out there, and we've been focused on that. And the label, people have called us a charity or a business or a social enterprise. It hasn't been important to us to define us. I think it's probably more we are what we are, and different people will view that differently, I think. So
I guess similar lines of questioning, but another thing I've heard you say is that people and profit are not mutually exclusive. And I think, again, that goes back to the question around charity stuff, that people have a mindset sometimes that profit is kind of like the enemy of caring for people. What are your thoughts on that?
Gosh, big question. I think there's if you're running a business, you need to be profitable, because how are you reinvesting in your business? To grow it, to sustain it, to improve it. And I think one of the biggest issues we're seeing in society at the moment, and I'm not the only one saying that for sure, is inequality. And so it's the disparity between too much and not enough that causes a lot of our problems in society, and is really a big social justice issue. Yeah. And so that can be addressed in a lot of ways, and we see that from legislation to philanthropy and all sorts of things. Like there's pay gap or pay ratio laws, I think, in one of those Scandinavian countries. There's talk of those sort of things here. So I think it's all about that balance, and we certainly are not against profit. I guess we're against profit at the expense of other people's livelihoods, and globally that's a massive problem. It's a problem in New Zealand for sure, but globally it's huge in terms of trade and the imbalance of access to markets and power and all that sort of thing. So that's another whole team podcast.
And for you, I'm going to say that that affects things like for you, like supply chains and things, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. And which we're not perfect on. And so coffee's been one of those. And whether you're talking about fair trade certified or not, we're talking about a grower's actually getting what they need to survive and produce a quality product. And there's various arguments around whether pure supply demand economics will make that work, but it's a complicated world in that, and right now we're seeing all sorts of pressures on those coffee growers that if that happened here, we'd be reaching out to support our farmers. I think more there's frosts in Brazil, for instance, climate change is causing havoc. Those sort of things are just not like, we'll fix that with supply and demand, everyone plant some more coffee plants and harvest them next year. It doesn't work like that. So for us, that addressing those things are important. Same with the apparel side of things, where actually creating jobs which are good and life-giving and healthy, rather than just the race to the bottom, I think, as well. So a lot of work to do there for all of us included, So it's really hard being in this space. I think everyone thinks when you're trying to do good, that you're doing good everywhere, and it's really hard to do good in everything you're doing. So you often come under scrutiny on that, but we're loving learning about where we can grow and improve on all that stuff.
And I think, that's a hard thing too, where it's about the fact that you want to, and that you're committed to learning about it, and then making decisions based off that learning, as opposed to being perfect and waiting till you're ready to be perfect before you do anything. Because again, I've met people who have some great ideas, but they're like, I don't know quite enough yet to get into it. It's like, just the ball doesn't roll until you start rolling it.
That's right. Yep.
You know.
Yep.
So you talked before about how you do a lot of redistribution of the profits, and for a long period that was kind of, was it 70% that you were committed to giving away, and what did that look like? Where were you redistributing it to?
Yeah, and then the 70% came from, I believe it was from looking at what the coffee co-ops overseas, Origin, would do with some of the premiums they got, and they'd split it 70-30 between the community and growing the business kind of thing. So, oh, if they're doing that, we'll do that too. So we keep 30% to, buy new equipment and whatnot. Yeah, so that's 70%. Over the years it's gone to various things locally, so some local things in local schools, and then overseas to back to, for instance, coffee growers has been one of them, helping with building some new buildings, planting new plants, and going into their social or community development funding pool. And more recently, our focus has been on India and our partners over there. So helping fund and seed and grow the businesses that we partner with over there. So. It's a nice thing to talk about, the money. Everyone can latch onto it, and it's certainly not everything. It's helpful, I think, and it's it's symbolic that a big whack of money's going where it wouldn't normally go, but actually it's the work on the ground that's important, and the relationships and the lives that are changed that really matter. Not the fact that you're not patting yourselves on the back. Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a sense of this is good, and I'm passionate about doing that, and this is my part to play in that. But I think I'm always just reminded that money has to get translated into transformation. That's a double transformation. But and what does that look like, and how can that be done well? And it's easy to stop at the figure and go, oh, this has been raised. But what does that look like in terms of lives changed and people be able to make their own steps for growth forward.
And so you started it after having that experience over with Reset in India. What's the relationship with them been like over the years? Like you've stayed as part of the the business?
We ended up being the Australasian, I think, distributors for Reset for the last 12 or 13 years, and so selling products in Australia and New Zealand. So a lot of apparel, t-shirts, and as a staple, and then bags, conference bags, tote bags, custom products as well. And so that once again been business. We've sold that stuff and to organisations, businesses, individuals, and then that has been run like a business. And any profit that's been made has been split as per that 70-30 thing as well, and redistributed. So that's been our relationship with Freeset, and more recently that's been Joya as Freeset's folded into this new movement called Joya, which is still based out of West Bengal in India, and so we're also Joya New Zealand, and we partner with Joya in India and then Joya in the US at the moment as well, and so there's a lot of community initiatives going on over there, and for us here, our role is once again is to hit the business side of it and sell things. So it's one of those things where we're focused on, our job is to sell things and to people that need them, and through that good things happen. So we're really focused on doing that, whether that's the clothing or the coffee or
So and I mean, you've got, as part of Joya, there's the co-op here, there's what was Freeset over in India, but you've also got an Addington store here, you've got Common Good Coffee, there's a whole lot of other bits and pieces.
We like to start a brand every year.
I was going to say, do you just have this desperate need to keep making new stuff?
No.
Or is it just been really natural progression?
There's been it's taken a while to be to become Joya here for the apparel side, and so there's a bit of consolidation there. The Addington store is just it's a gift shop inside the cafe really, but that was we thought it's a space that became available post earthquake. We had to knock down a brick wall, and we thought, we could just put more tables and chairs in, or we could actually make this a gift shop, bookshop, and there's a certain bent to it as well in terms of what's in there. But it's been a little shop that could actually, like it's in the black, and it really wouldn't work by itself, but it really adds value to the cafe as well. So it's terrible because you just want to read every book that's in there, and you end up spending far too much money on books. And then our latest sort of carve out is Common Good Coffee, which we've roasted coffee, since we started, but recently we've partnered with some friends up in Wanganui and Auckland as well, to really found this brand of coffee and sell as much as we can throughout New Zealand as well. And so the money from the coffee, $5 a kg from it goes towards Joya. So it's a
cool. So it's like tapping into things that were already part of your wheelhouse.
That's right. Yeah.
But now there's more reach for it, because now if other cafes start selling that brand, then that's making money for Joya as well.
That's right, yeah. And so it's been awesome just partnering with other people too and getting out of a little world. It's helped sharpen us out of our little cottage industry, roasting here as well, and seeing that grow as well. So I think we've just ticked over today. I've just sent an email out. We've just ticked over 100 grand being generated from that coffee being sold, which once again, it's a figure, but it's something to celebrate that. Just a simple change of choosing the coffee you drink has been able to do that as well. So totally linked in with Joy in terms of what it does and its why, I suppose, is the key thing.
And so what difference have you seen it making in real people's lives?
So I think there's a lot of initiatives that Joy is involved with over in West Bengal, and so obviously employment's one of them, and that's the products that we sell here that creates jobs. Well, obviously we've got to keep selling things and selling more things to be able to sustain those jobs, and so we're really passionate about making that business sustainable, but also carving out the community transformation and development aspects of that are they're separate from the business. A job, you can get better healthcare and not be employed perhaps. So there's a separation there. So Joy's involved with it's early days, and it's been an interesting time with COVID over there as well for all of us, but it certainly had an impact over there. And so last year there was a big COVID response. It was really just about getting through, keeping everyone's jobs despite the order book being shut or empty, making sure that there was access to healthcare and access to critical healthcare in a few instances, which is a bit scary, but turned out all right, which is good. And then making sure there's food for people who not earning money or enough money or have lost jobs elsewhere. And then more recently, a big thing's been education, and so looking at that next generation and the generation beyond that to just like you and I and our children, they vibrant, intelligent humans that deserve a chance at being amazing. And so education is such an amazing thing. We often take for granted. We hate school. There's too much homework. So to be able to create opportunities for education is the latest push over there. And so that's something that needs money to resource and provide access to.
That's cool too, that you're not just doing stuff that helps right now, but you're doing stuff that's going to help into the future.
That's right,
and help setting up these kids for the chance to be more than if you weren't involved.
And trying to do that. So there's local empowerment, and that takes time. This is, it doesn't happen immediately, but very aware that that's really important as well. That 10, 15 years, what does that look like? And we're not there, and so making sure that wheel is always pushing towards local,
So
locally run.
So you're not doing the white saviour thing.
Yeah, and of course you are, but you go an eyes wide open to that, and always critiquing that, looking at that. So, certainly there's something about seeing young, children going to school when they may not have, and and being smarter than you at maths. It's like really funny and really awesome. So you'd be cool to see in 5 and 10 years what that looks like too. Yeah.
Cool. When you look back over the last kind of 14 years of the coffee co-op, what are some of the kind of standout moments for you?
Oh gosh, that's a fun one. I actually really like building the place.
Yeah.
Like it was the journey is the destination a little bit. Like,
cool. And
I think it bonded us as a bunch of friends. We argue on a few things, I'm sure. And it was that sense of like you can actually do things with if a bunch of people come together and are determined to get somewhere, you often can, and despite what it might seem impossible. So I always look back at those years and think, never thought we were going to get there, and we did. And I think that's been formative, pushing through some other glass ceilings too in recent years. I don't know. I would just say every day I turn up and I'm grateful to see that place mostly full of people, and really just grateful for that, because it's a pretty competitive market, and I'm grateful that wheel's turning and that our staff tend to just they're the ones that hold that and make that happen, and they bring the vibe. And so I like that culture has kept being passed down from as staff have turned over as well. And that's been important to us. So I love turning up to work every day, walking in, getting my coffee, and like, this is amazing. Never thought this would still be going. So yeah,
and I've known a bunch of people that have worked here over the years, and the sense you get is that this is actually a cool place to work. People really enjoy being part of it.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, look, there's moments that are stressful for sure, but I think we care. I think we care about each other, and I think what we say to the crew is that if we turn up every day and care, we'll be all right. The day we turn up and we don't care anymore, that's when things start to fall apart. In anything you do, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, and that's just good business practice.
Or good. I can tell you care about these podcasts. You know, like if you didn't, it would be boring questions and unemotive tone of voice. So that's
awesome. If someone was, pondering starting something with the social impact kind of focus, what would you say to them?
I think clearly, whatever way you want to frame it up, clearly define what you're aiming for and why. You want to go down the Simon Sinek, why, how, what, whichever order it is. I know the why's at the top, but I think that stuff's really important, because the mission drift will come, and so you want to know why you exist, and then figure out how you're going to get there and be realistic and get some not dissenting, but don't surround yourself with yes people. Some people that are going to critique your plans and be real. You want the realists, you want the idealists, you want enough of that mix to be able to get you over the line, but make sure you're alive at the other side of it. I think so. That's vague, but I think people can take something out of that. And give things a go. Like, I think I'm not a massive risk taker by nature, but I've learned a lot about it. I think you've said this before. Like, you get the ball rolling, and actually often things actually turn out well or better than you expected. And if they don't, well, that's a great learning opportunity too. So I've learned a lot about myself over the years on that too. So I'd encourage you, if you were like me, then you probably just need a bit of encouragement to see what could be and not worry about what might not be.
It's like a lot of us have this fear of failing, don't we?
Right, yeah, it's massive.
What if we try it and it doesn't work?
Yeah.
And I think what I love about people who have just gone in and done it anyway is, well, it might not have worked. And actually, the 3 things they did before this might not have worked, but this one did, or you're just never going to know until you have a go. So that's, I love that you guys just went, hey, let's do this. But you also went, hey, let's do this wisely and, get some people around us and, do all that kind of stuff as well. So it wasn't just you on your own trying to force change. I love too what you said right at the start about, planting yourselves in this community and wanting to change or be a part of this community, because that's so foreign now to the way of the Western culture, that we tend to, buy houses in areas that we like and then travel to wherever work is, and you might even travel to church on the other side of the city or something because you like that one. And we've in a lot of ways we've lost that sense of local community. And I love that that's at your heart, and actually the space. I know a lot of your customers are locals. They're people who this is their local, this is where they come because it's part of their community, which is, to me, that's a great thing despite all the other good stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, sure, yeah. There's a printer going. We're in a real business, bona fide office here. We'll see what's coming out.
All good.
Just some menu calculations. There you go. That being in the local community is important to us, and I don't know. When I was growing up, I did feel that sense of I just lived locally. My friends lived locally. I went to the local school, and there's pros and cons of the urban sprawl of that changing. But I think most people actually do like living in a community where they know people, where there's the local cafe to go to, where there's people do actually value that. And I think, I'm hopeful that we can bring that back a little bit in society too. So, yeah.
Nice. How can people support what you guys are doing?
People have been hugely supportive. So, thank you if you have ever bought anything off us or been encouraging or put in a nice review or recommended us to someone. So I think keep doing that really. Every time you come in and buy coffee, or if you're running an event and you need t-shirts or bags, it really comes down to that sort of thing. Coffee supply obviously is another big one. So if you're running a business or a cafe, but you want to be part of this, then we can supply you. So yeah.
And if they want to find out about it, where do they go? What's the website?
The catch-all for everything. If you go to Addington Coffee, you Google Addington Coffee.
Yeah.
I think that's the most friendly Google website at the moment. It's the SEO website. You can contact us through that, and it will get to the right person. So whether it's coffee, apparel, or if you want to book your end of year function here, let us know. But yeah, we appreciate everyone coming in, and it's quite distracting sometimes. I know everyone that comes in here almost, and so you're always saying hello to people, and I do love that about it. And I think, gee, what if I worked somewhere else? I don't know what I'd be missing,
Awesome. Oh, well, thanks so much for making time to talk to us. I'm sure people will be really inspired by what you've had to say, and it'll get some wheels turning for some people. Thank you for your heart for people and for business. To be able to marry those two things together to do good in the world. And so thank you for what you're doing to help to bring a bit of heaven down to earth.
No, thank you. And I say it's been really nice to reflect on things and take a break from the whirlwind to actually think about these things too. So I appreciate you carving out that space as well.
Hello, hello heaven. Will I hear you whisper to come near?
I love how down to earth Age is about this whole Addington Coffee Co-op Joya journey. He's so humble about the difference that he and the team are making, and yet so obviously passionate and committed to making a difference. I love the generosity, the care for people, the care for quality and making good products, and the fact that after 14 years at this, he's open to say that he's still learning how to do good in the world. Age, you and your team and the relationships you have forged are such a wonderful example of bringing a bit of heaven down to earth. Here is a blessing for you. May the passion and the compassion that gripped you those many years ago in India continue to drive you to good, seeing opportunities to love and care for people in ways you haven't even thought of yet. May Addington Coffee Co-op continue to hold a special place in the hearts of the people of Addington, Christchurch and further afield, both for its quality and for its compassion. When business gets hard and pandemics force changes, may you be strengthened by those around you who can sow into you the faith, hope and love that you pass on to those around you all the time, just by being you. May Joya continue to grow and to thrive, impacting the lives of so many who are empowered, emboldened and valued. As you continue to learn ways in which these businesses can do good in the world, may you be encouraged that every little step makes a difference, that every person impacted is worth it. And may you know that there are people being encouraged and inspired that you may never hear of. May you continue to love what you do and to do what you love, and may the bigness of your dreaming be matched only by the bigness of your heart. And finally, may you know you are seen, you are heard, and you are loved. Thanks to Strawn for the music and Rangi for the karakia. Join me next time for my 50th episode, where I celebrate by talking to TUI award-winning artist, 2022 New Zealand Children's Artist of the Year, Music with Michael. We talk music, collaboration, bringing beauty and joy, loving kids, loving parents, knowing your worth, and so much more. Until then, me inoi tātou.
E tō mātou matua I te rangi, kia tapu tō ingoa, kia tau mai tō rangatiratanga, kia mea te tau e pai ai ki runga ki te whenua, kia rite anō ki tō te rangi. Homai kia mātou ai nei, he taro mā mātou mō tēnei rā. Muro o mātou hara, me mātou hoki e muru nei I o te hunga, e hara ana kia mātou. Aua hoki mātou e kawea, kia whakawaia, engari whakaorangi a mātou I te kino. Amen.